This is Samantha Kuhn
and Wendy Fox
from Albany, New York.
When we're not recording Kurt's trip report, planning an Albany meetup, or the next Geekin' event, we're going geekin' on Walt Disney World with Curtis and the whole Geekin' family.
Hey, Disney World geeks, Curtis Stone here, and welcome to episode 445 of the Geekin' on Walt Disney World podcast. This week, Wendy Fox reviews a big family birthday trip and 3 rooms on the Star Wars Galactic Starcruiser. That's a 2-night adventure, plus 5 nights at the Grand Floridian Grand Villa. I've been having fun chatting with Disney World fans like Wendy for about 8 years now. And if you're new to the podcast, welcome. Started the podcast with my daughter Lindsay 8 years ago, and we started talking about our Disney World trips. And then we brought on you Disney geeks to tell your trip stories. Our listeners are so positive, caring, generous, and they are experienced Disney geeks. You'll get lots of ideas and tips for your next trip to Disney World from their real-world experiences and trip reports. We encourage a family atmosphere here on the podcast. Before too long, they were calling me the Podfather. We'd love for you to join our Geekin' family. We have an amazing private discussion group in Facebook. Search for Geekin' on WDW Family in Facebook, and that's a great place where you can ask your questions, share your trip pictures, and engage with one of the best Disney groups out there on the internet. We're also independent Disney authorized travel agents with Fairy Tale Concierge. Fairy Tale Concierge is an authorized platinum Disney vacation travel agency. We'd love to be your Disney travel guides. We can help you book your room, tickets, and dining reservations. You'll notice most of our guests on the podcast, like Wendy, book their trips, or they transfer their trip bookings over to the Travelin' Tiaras. That's Mama, my wife Margita, and Auntie Judy, her good friend, my good friend. Just email them at travelintiaras@gmail.com to get started. Just check the show notes and you'll see their email as well as mine if you'd like to reach out to us to talk about Disney World. Very exciting. We got Wendy, our good friend. The Starcruiser has already opened up just recently. Fresh back, she is telling all of her stories from her 8 nights, a split stay. Grand Floridian Grand Villa. That's pretty cool all alone. That DVC Grand Villa at the Grand Floridian. And of course, the Starcruiser. But you got to talk food when you're on the Geekin' podcast. She did some of her favorites, the storybook dining, which actually that was the very first time her and her family went on it. So that was awesome. Chef Mickey's, and not the buffet, family style. That's a tradition of her family. Beer Garden and Ohana. She reviews some of her top quick service meals and also the Flower and Garden Festival. That's, you may have heard Lindsay and I talk about this, but that's one of our favorite festivals at Disney World. The Flower and Garden Festival is going on right now. Our good friend Nancy Elizabeth talked about the gingerbread cookie, and Wendy gives her review. It's still there. It's not just a holiday treat. So glad it's still at the German Pavilion. Wendy did some awesome videos while she was on this trip, and one of them was her review of the green and blue milk. It was fantastic. Check out her videos on our private Facebook group. She did have a rough start on the Starcruiser, but over an hour, we reviewed the Starcruiser and answered all of the listeners' questions. Now, Wendy does a great job describing the experience without giving it all away. She's very careful not to give too many spoilers. She's got some great advice and some things you'll want to know before you try this adventure for yourself. Now, let's climb aboard Chandrila Starline's luxurious flagship Halcyon Starcruiser. often tease people that are part of the Geekin' family that they're my favorite listener. Either they did something fun for the group or for me personally. And sometimes they go on a really cool trip that a lot of us are jealous of. And now my next guest, she is my favorite listener for sure, because she's going to tell us all about the Starcruiser, which just really opened up, and she's already been on it, and she's just back from it from yesterday. And it's Wendy Fox who's joining us.
Hey, geeks. Glad to be back from Earth and ready to go.
Wendy, you are fired up to get your trip report done. You just got back like last night. What time did you get home?
Last night. I think we landed around 5:30.
Okay.
Had a quick bite to eat and got back. I'm like, look, do you want to do the trip report last night, this morning while it's fresh in my mind? So here we go.
Well, you're such a fantastic member of our community, doing so much for us. I always talk about the folks that are so generous and caring and fun. And now you've been on the Starcruiser. So like I said, you're my favorite listener right now, Wendy. Like you weren't already. Okay. You were already. If you're listening to this in chronological order, Wendy did my trip report last week. And now we're going to do her trip report the traditional way. Well, let's start off because you were there 8 nights. And who went on the trip?
I was. It was supposed to be 7 nights. And then there was a storm that came up, and I was so worried that we weren't going to be able to get out. So let me just tell you, it was a very costly extra night, and I needed to book 8 last-minute airline tickets on Southwest. All that was left was Business Select.
Okay.
So 8 Business Select tickets and an extra hotel ended up being a little costly add-on, but it made sense because our flight got canceled. So yeah. I'm glad we ended up doing that. And once we got into town, we just really stayed overnight in one of the airport hotels. And then the next morning, we went over to the Grand Floridian, dropped off our stuff, and we actually had an extra park day. And when I was going over with my family, one of their favorites, and John was saying his extra favorite thing was that extra park day.
Oh, cool. That's, yeah. And did you fly out of Bradley?
We did.
Yeah.
We did, because we had to get a last minute airline ticket, and we needed 8 seats, and we needed a direct flight, or we wanted a direct flight, because with the storm, we definitely didn't want to change planes, and everything in Albany filled up so quickly.
Okay.
And there was not that many direct anyways. So we couldn't fly out of there, and Bradley's the next closest. So we did. Let me kind of start at the beginning. There were 8 of us on this trip. There was my husband and I. There was my daughter, Stephanie, her husband, Kevin, and my grandsons, Liam and Logan. They are 3 and 6. And then there was my son, Jeffrey, and his husband, Andrew. So there were 8 of us.
Wow.
So the 6 of us went down the night before, and Jeff and Andrew actually still came on Saturday, and they did end up making it. Not on our original flight, but they did catch up. So Saturday night, we were all together.
All right.
And we were on this trip. And one of the main reasons we wanted to go is, 1, we told Judy and Margita, as soon as the Star Wars hotel opened up, we needed 3 rooms. Little do we know the cost, but you know what? We did it. And 2, it was my husband's 60th birthday.
Yeah.
So we were trying to figure out when to go to the Star Wars hotel. That just kind of seemed like the right time to do it.
Right. And I did want to ask you about the planning that went into this, because I asked Margita to give me a couple questions for you, because again, thank you for using the travel and tiaras. Margita, I know I asked her, we've talked about this a little bit already, but she said she spent probably about 20 hours on the phone with Disney and I'm sure with you too, just with a lot of questions. And were there a lot of questions that you had, and what were some of those questions, and did you get them answered, and why was there a lot of confusion?
A lot of that was more on hold with Disney than I think talking to me. The first, when Margita booked it, I think she was on hold 7 hours.
Yes.
And I'm texting with her, and I tried too. I had 2 different phones going, and as soon as it opened up in October, I'm trying and she's trying, and she got through. I think I sent her flowers afterwards. I think I felt so bad that she had to be on hold for so long.
I know.
But she did. She got 3 rooms, and I kept asking her, any chance there's a room upgrade? Any chance there's like a better cabin? Any chance? And she was saying no. And then I added on, there was a capture your moment section that you could add on to the trip, which just was released like, I think a week or two before we left.
Yeah.
So she added that on, and I do have advice for that also when we get there. But yes. So the first 5 nights at the Grand Floridian were through DVC.
Yeah.
And the Starcruiser became available to book in October for March. So it wasn't until October that I started trying to find a 3-bedroom. And I couldn't find anything. I'm booking a day here, a day there, 2 days here and there, I'm just trying all these different times. Finally, I got 4 out of the 5 days at the Grand Floridian, so I took that. It would not have been my first choice. It's still not my first choice. It uses up a lot of points. And although the location and everything was great, it's a really, for a 3-bedroom unit for 5 days, and this was not a value time. This is a pretty busy time because it was spring break week. It used up more points than I would have for a 3-bedroom. I did book that for 4 nights, and I had a wait list for 1 night, which finally came through. So then we were in the Grand Floridian Grand Villa for all 5 nights.
Yeah. Oh, very good. Well, that worked out. I'm so glad.
Yes.
And so let's compare, because we did the 3-bedroom is the Grand Villa. We did one at the Old Key West for the G3, and now you've stayed at the Grand Villa at the Grand Floridian. I was trying to say that
right.
That wasn't that easy. Can you compare the two?
They're like opposite ends of the spectrum.
Okay. So
the Grand Villa, as you know, at Old Key West is a little bit older, a little bit more dated. It's 2 floors. It's a little bit more broken up. The Grand Villa at Grand Floridian, it's 2,800 square feet.
Wow.
It's big. When they say Grand Villa, it's a Grand Villa. There were 6 of them because they're the very back wall sort of the square of the hotel in the at the Grand Floridian Villas. I did see one when I went on a tour that was on the 1st floor that was fully updated. Ours was on the 6th floor. It was not updated. I mean, I'm not complaining, trust me, because it was a great location, but things like there wasn't enough outlets or plugs in the bedroom to charge things. There was just some things that still needed to be updated. And when I mentioned that, they said they're going floor by floor renovating, and we were on the top floor. So it had plenty of room. It was 3 generous sized bedrooms, 4 bathrooms, a large kitchen area, a living room, a dining room that sat like the dining area, the kitchen, the living room, the dining area, all open. And it had 10 chairs around this big dining table. And then it had a media room, which had like a sofa and a couple chairs and TVs in there. So definitely was large. And again, it was great. There was 8 of us, and we really wanted to be all together under one roof. That's, with me and my kids and my grandkids, that's my absolute number 1 favorite. So the location, as you know, is great. It's on the monorail. You can walk to the Magic Kingdom. You could walk to Poly. I mean, to walk to the Polynesian, it was like, less than 5 minutes. That was really quick.
All right. Because that's a building that's just for DVC. It's right between Polynesian and the the main part of Grand Floridian, right?
Right. It's actually closer to walk from the villas to the Polynesian than it is to walk to Magic Kingdom. But the Magic Kingdom walk was short also. We use that new walking path to get there.
Now we just got news that DVC is building more rooms at the Polynesian, where the luau used to be, which is in that same close vicinity.
Right.
That'd be interesting.
Yes.
To compare once they get that ready.
Yes. So, okay. Do you want me to go day by day with our trip, or you want just to do food or resort? How do you want to do it?
Yeah, let's do the usual food. Let's go. Let's hit the best favorite food things. Did you have a lot of ADRs set up for this before you did the Starcruiser?
Well, we did, but then I ended up getting them changed all around. We had an extra day, and then there was a number of people. So I think the only ADR that we actually kept was the one Margita booked for Chef Nikki's. I think that was the only one. Everything else just got moved around and changed. So our first bonus day, we went to the Magic Kingdom, and we went, obviously, after we checked in. We really took it slowly. This was like an extra day. The kids were just there. We walked in. It said 5 minutes to meet Mickey. And I'm like, let's just meet Mickey. And Liam had met him when he was 4, but Logan had never met him. So, we did that. And actually, I think it said 15-minute wait, but it was only 5 minutes. And then we were walking around, and then we were starting to do some of the rides. We did like Peter Pan, and because it was still early enough that it wasn't super crowded. And we did just some of the smaller kid rides, and the boys liked that. And we really, like I said, took our time. And then we went back as soon as the room was ready around 4 or 4:30. So we really were there maybe from 10 to about 4. We went back, and then as I'm at the gift shop with my daughter, I'm trying to find a dining reservation because we don't have anything. So I'm looking, I find this, I find that. All of a sudden, Storybook Dining comes available for 6 people at like $5.25 or $5.35. And I'm like, yes. I didn't even ask anyone. I just did it.
Yeah, that's probably a tough one to get normally.
It was.
Yeah.
It was. So we hadn't even been to the room yet. We had just dropped off our luggage. So I'm like, okay, let's go back. So we go to the room, we check in, we get our bags, we walk in. My grandson, Liam, who's 6, walks in and goes, oh, this is really big. And the kids are running up and down the hall and they think this is like amazing. And we drop our bags, we get changed for dinner because, we were in the parks all day. We get cleaned up. I said, okay, let's just call an Uber. We'll get there more quickly. So we call an Uber. It was like some white, like, I don't know, Grand Cherokee van or something. I mean, it was not a nice car. So we walk outside. There is a white stretch limousine from someone who was having a wedding.
Yeah.
And my grandson goes, Nana, is that our car? Like, that was like one of my favorite comments of the whole trip. I'm like, no, ours would be, the clunker behind it with the couple seats.
Oh. So sad.
Yeah.
No, that's cool. Yeah. So you scored. Yeah. Were you with me when I did the Storybook Dining? No, you weren't on my.
No, I was supposed to be, but we left a couple days early, so we missed that.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Had you done that one before?
No, I had reservations before. Last time we had gone as a family, we had reservations for it. And then Rise of the Resistance came along and we had a boarding group that conflicted with our dinner and I had to cancel that. And then I was supposed to go at G3 and I left early and I canceled that. So this is really my 3rd try and this time I made it.
All right. So what'd you think?
Loved it. Loved the food. The whole experience was really great. Like I said, plus it was our first night there. We'd finally made it. There was like a lot of relief on that part. We really just laid back and enjoyed. And the food I thought was really delicious. I don't know what you thought, but the appetizers they bring kind of all together. There's a little centerpiece that has these 3 leaves on it that's kind of raised up a little bit. And they put each of the 3 appetizers on there to share. And there was a wild mushroom bisque, which was my favorite of all of them. There was a wicked shrimp cocktail and there was a hunter's pie.
Yeah.
And I just thought that mushroom soup was the best. And they brought 6 little ones. And of course, my grandsons weren't eating mushroom soup, so I confiscated theirs. And then when we were looking at the entrees, my daughter's like, I don't think my grandsons are going to want, grilled chicken. Could we get something? Do you have chicken nuggets? She goes, well, we have them at another restaurant. Would you like me to get them for you?
Really?
And we're like, yes, we would. So actually they went, I don't know where they went, if they went just somewhere else in the building, but they got chicken nuggets and fries and mac and cheese that was not on the menu at Storybook Dining. So they found that, which was amazing.
Whispering Canyon, probably.
Probably Whispering Canyon, yes. And I had the fish, which is delicious. Both my daughter and son-in-law had the prime rib. They really liked that. They thought it was delicious. And my husband had the chicken, and everyone really enjoyed their meal. They said that was great.
Yeah. How were the characters?
The characters were good. The queen, she just kind of came and stared, and the kids kind of got up and, took their picture. Snow White kept coming over and flirting with Logan, who's a 3-year-old, and he kept blowing her kisses, and then she'd blow him kisses, and she kept coming around and waving to them. I think we were there when they came around a couple times, and the way you take a picture is the characters stay about 6 feet behind you, and you have the kids pose kind of in front with their backs to the character, and you get the picture that way. And so it was Snow White and Dopey. He had a great interaction too with my kids. Like I said, the queen was fine. There was nothing wrong, but Snow White really went out of her way and really, really loved, gave a lot of attention to the kids. And then they bring the desserts that were shared. And the one that we all liked was the poison apple, which was a dark chocolate, and it had a little sour center, like a little red sour center.
Okay.
And they brought a few other ones. There was some tarts, and I think there were 4 4 different ones, and we couldn't finish them all. And we asked for a box to take them home. So we did take them home, and trust me, they got eaten another day.
Okay. I trust you.
Food.
You had a refrigerator at the hotel.
We had a refrigerator. Yep. So I think out of our meals, that was probably my favorite sit down one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right off the bat. And a
right
surprise,
off the bat.
A great surprise. Yeah. Well, you did talk about Chef Mickey's. Isn't that a family tradition too? It's
a family tradition. Normally that's our first night where we all go to Chef Mickey's. But the way that this trip evolved, we didn't end up going there, I think, until Tuesday, which was great.
Okay.
But we went there, and normally it's a buffet, and this time it was family style. They said they couldn't go back to the buffet yet because of the characters. I don't really understand that, but the character interactions weren't quite the same with them staying at a distance, but they did come around quite a bit. And the food was family style, and I actually thought the food was better then than it ever has been at Chef Mickey's.
Oh, good.
I mean, it was courses, and there were some things that we liked. Like the carrots. I mean, we all love the carrots, a crazy thing. Like, could you bring more carrots? And they started you off with small salad, and you know, and we just, so whatever we like, we just asked for more of it, and they just kept bringing more plates. And trust me, we did ask for more quite a bit. And of course, the mac and cheese was a big hot item with my grandsons, but everyone really liked the food there a lot. It's much better than it ever had been. Yeah.
Tell me, can you remember some of the things that are on that family style?
Well, I do remember that my son-in-law had prime rib again for another night. Okay. And that was also something that he liked. I had the salmon. John and I both had the salmon. The salmon was really good. They had something else. It was like a casserole dish, and I'm not quite sure what was in there because I didn't have that one. Okay. But they probably brought 3 different kinds of salads out to start with. There was probably like 3 different kinds of vegetables. There was potatoes. There was a really creamy mac and cheese. I mean, it was really plentiful. And in comparison, we also went to Beer Garden, and that buffet, I actually thought the food at Chef Mickey's was much better than at Beer Garden, which I had never would have said in the past.
Okay.
So if that's a maybe in your list, especially if they keep it family style, I don't know. I just think the food tasted a lot better. The way they were serving it was hot, and it just came out. We liked it better.
Judy had that same comment about Crystal Palace.
Okay.
When they were doing, I think they're back to the buffet now, but she was saying, she really had a great, we've had good experiences with the family style, and I raved about Ohana. You know, they changed it a little bit about bringing the skewers out, and I was very pleased. You know, the other vegetable that I really liked that I raved about, I had several times, was Brussels sprouts. It's funny, we said the same thing about carrots.
So, well, we also did Ohana. Yeah. And it was really nice. That was after our second Magic Kingdom day. And the great thing was we just walked there. It was like 5 minutes, and it was amazing. The service was great. We checked in. It was like a table for 8. So we got a lot of family style dining. And then I remember when we went G3, Jeff Kessler ordered some extra, I think the dumplings. And so whatever we had extras of the end, we took back a lot of stuff. We even asked for extra bread pudding.
Okay.
The funniest thing is we're leaving, and we had like literally 7 boxes of leftovers. So we passed another couple that had 2 boxes of takeout items. And my daughter looks at them and said, amateurs.
This is a great tip. I don't remember them doing this. I don't know that we didn't ask, or there's just... Yeah. Well,
you know, it was really Jeff that asked when we were there. He's like, can I take these pot stickers back? And there's very small boxes. So when I said there's 7 boxes, they're, you know, enough to fit, you know, a very small amount. And we had a couple boxes. So anyways, but we took, I think, food home in almost every restaurant we went to. That was good. And there was bread pudding at night. And I can remember my son coming to me, does anyone have claim on the bread pudding? They're like, nope, go have at it.
Nice to have bread pudding from Ohana in the refrigerator.
Exactly.
On a late night. Yeah.
Exactly.
The 2 tips I took away from my experience with Ohana this time was, 1, ask for the sauces for the pot stickers if you can, the peanut sauce. I don't know if you did that.
We didn't, but you know what? It wasn't anything and we wanted.
Okay. And then the other one was the beef that they bring was a little bit well done. So we always asked to bring something a little, you know, medium or medium rare.
I would have to say I did try the beef. I'm not a huge meat eater. That was my least favorite.
Right.
Not only of all the food at Ohana, probably of all my food there at Disney. It just...
Yeah. That's the other tip.
Yeah, it wasn't really well done. It was red inside, but it wasn't.
Okay.
I just don't think it was very well cooked. The noodles, of course, are always a hit.
Yeah.
Pot sticker is always a hit. The chicken was really good. The shrimp was really good. And of course, bread pudding's my favorite dessert on property. So that was all good. The beef there, not so much.
Yeah, definitely ask them if they can do better. Found that out. All right. And then did you say beer garden too? You went to?
We did beer garden. So you remember we're having 8 people. So we really wanted to have restaurants that were easy to go to with 8 people. The only one that we left off the list was Boma, and we ran out of nights. We just couldn't quite make that work.
All right.
And they're all favorites of ours too. I mean, storybook dining was new, but the other 3 are all favorites that we usually fit in, one time or another.
Yeah.
So that was good. And then our park experiences, I was really worried that it was going to be crowded because it was spring break. But that wasn't the case. I mean, it was crowded. I shouldn't say that. It was crowded because it was spring break, but it didn't impact us all that much. We did some lightning lanes for the rides. We mobile ordered our food every day at lunchtime, and then we were out of the park by later in the afternoon. Except for our beer garden day, we came home back to the resort, I would say by 3:34 to rest and get recharged for dinner. So we really weren't there late enough in the day, I think, to make the crowds really an issue.
Well, beer garden's always been one of my favorites. So how and you guys go there quite often too, right? So did it deliver as usual? Regular expectations?
I think we always went there because everyone loves it, and I did love it too. But if you looked at the other 3 restaurants that we went to with those 4, I would put beer garden last.
Okay.
As far as the food.
What, they missed something?
Well, I think when we went for G3 before, when it was family style, again, I thought the food was much better. And I think now that it was back to a buffet, I just,
interesting.
I just don't think it was quite, in my opinion, I just don't think it was quite as good as it was when we went there. Maybe the food sits a little bit longer. I mean, it's the same food, but maybe I liked having it served at the table better. But the food was good. It wasn't great.
Was the band playing?
The band was playing, yes.
Okay.
Still no dancing.
Oh, okay.
They did their regular routine, the playing the...
Yeah.
They play the water glasses. What's the other thing they play? The glockenspiel or whatever. They played that, and they had the big long horns. Yeah, they had that. And that was really great. We love listening to that. And I think my kids especially were disappointed that they didn't have the dancing down on the stage for the boys to go do the chicken dance and all that stuff. I think they would have really liked that.
Right. Okay. Did that cover then all the restaurants that you did outside of the Starcruiser?
We did, because we just did quick service. We did our regular, like, Santulli Canteen. We did kind of all the usual quick service. And let me just tell you, the mobile ordering was amazing. Yeah. I mean, we did it every single time. We mobile ordered. We said, click, prepare. One of us got the table. One of us got the stuff. And you're talking about 6 or 8 people at the same time sitting down. And that was great. That really worked out well. Yeah,
we, sometimes we criticize technology and other things at Disney World, but I feel like they kind of rolled this out properly, piloting it and slowly rolling out. A lot of people didn't even know it was there for some time. We were making fun of people because they didn't want mobile ordering. And now it's a necessity. But yeah, my experiences and everyone I've talked to has been very good for the mobile ordering.
Yes. Yeah, it was great.
What's your top quick service then on this trip?
Probably Santulli Canteen. I mean, I just love that. I usually have a salad every afternoon, like for lunch. I mean, it's just a lot of food to eat at Disney. It's just my way of trying to keep a little bit healthy and not overindulge. And that's my favorite salad. I mean, it's not just lettuce, tomato, cucumber, and chicken. Like, it has a little bit more interest in it. Okay. So I think Santulli Canteen for sure is probably our favorite.
I didn't know they did a salad at Santulli Canteen because I'm eating those meatballs.
Right.
Never
yeah,
noticed.
They do. It's really good. And they even have the boba balls on the chicken salad, on the salad with chicken. So yes.
Excellent. Okay, give me a second one. What's your second favorite?
Well, actually, we did Gasparillos. I forgot to mention that, which is the quick serve at the Grand Floridian.
Yeah. Oh, good.
We did that for one night. We had gone to Hollywood Studios. We rope dropped it. We were there at like 7 a.m. And by the time we got back, we had some pool time. We had dinner there at night. And then we had an 11:30 lunch before we left for the Star Wars Hotel. And that food was really good. Everyone really liked it. I think it's something that you can only get right now if you're staying at Grand Floridian. At least that's what came up with the mobile order. But if not, if you were at the park and you were just looking for a different quick service, like sometimes we walked over to the Contempo Cafe, at Contemporary when you're there. This is also really good when they had pizza and they had burgers, they had chicken sandwich, they had grilled cheese and tomato soup, which is what I got. It was not as good as peaches and cream, but it was still good. And that was another quick service that I would definitely put in the list. You don't hear anyone talking about that for sure.
Awesome. Yes. I think all three of those around the Magic Kingdom resorts are fantastic.
Right. In Kona too. You mean at Polynesian?
Yeah. Captain Cook's I was thinking of.
Oh, right.
But the Contempo Cafe has always been good. Well, you did some really good, you really strategically, logistically did it well around eating around where you're staying, which is easy to do because there's some good places. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So, and it's just, especially because we wanted to come back in the afternoon. Like I said, the only day we didn't come back was our Epcot day. We decided to go a little bit later and stay. And then we had like a 5:00 dinner reservation. Probably was the hardest day with the boys at dinner. They were actually pretty good at dinner most of the time. But that time, I think they were a little bit more rambunctious. I don't think there was as much at Epcot that kept their interest, although we did take them on the playground.
Okay.
They did play in that for a while, and we did take them to the aquarium, and we happened to get where the manatees were being fed. And so we did a couple of other like kid things for them, and my husband and I took them so my daughter and son-in-law could go off and try some of the food and drinking. They wanted to drink around the world. So we took the boys.
Yeah. I love the Flower and Garden Festival. It's one of my favorite. And
yes.
Any special things for the Flower and Garden that you enjoyed?
Yes, I'm looking at my notes right now. So we went a little bit later, so we had lunch there. So John and I split a few dishes. We split the seared Valasso salmon with farro risotto and micro herbs. Mm-hmm. We split the seared scallops with French green beans, buttered potatoes, brown butter vinaigrette, and applewood smoked bacon. Those two were excellent. Yeah. I would definitely have those. We also got the beef tenderloin tips with mushroom Bordeaux sauce and whipped potatoes. I would definitely not get that. I think because Canada had the filet sandwich that was so good, we decided to have the beef. None of us like that.
Okay.
And my husband's favorite food of all was the griddled maple pound cake with warm peach compote and sweet corn gelato. That was his absolute favorite of all of Epcot. It was a really good sweet dessert. I got like one taste of it.
He didn't let you have too much of that one.
No. And my daughter liked the orange sunshine wine slushie from the citrus blossom.
Ooh, that sounds good.
That was her favorite. And then she said she also tried some hard cider, and they had like a couple hours without the boys, so they really tried to make the most of it. But those were our favorites. And also when we were in Epcot, Nancy Elizabeth had posted, "Can you try the gingerbread cookie in Germany?" So I said that I would. And now, Kurt, you know that my desserts that I like are normally chocolate desserts, and this was not chocolate, but I bought it, right? Or bread pudding. I bought it, 10 out of 10. Oh. Nancy was 100% right, 10 out of 10. It's like, I just want to take a little taste.
Yay.
I was going to take a little taste, and then next I took another taste, and then I took another taste, and before I knew it, half the cookie was gone. That was really good. So Nancy Elizabeth, 10 out of 10 for the oatmeal.
She knows her cookies. And that was one that we thought was going to only be like Christmas time, gingerbread, right? Right. What's the middle? It's a huge thing, right? It's like two cookies with a cream centers.
Correct. It's like some maple deliciousness. I don't know. It all works together. It's like a gingerbread cookie. No, there wasn't icing on it. Yeah. It was just two cookies and then the frosting in the middle.
The frosting was good.
Well, it wasn't sweet. I didn't really like a lot of really sweet frostings, and this was it was flavorful without being too sweet. And like I said, you just had a little bit and then a little bit more and a little bit more, and then it was gone.
Did you eat the whole thing?
Not this one day. I had half one day and then I had half the other day, but I did eat it eventually.
It's big enough to save for later.
And Deirdre Watts said, don't forget to mobile order. And yes, I did mobile order it. And there was a big long line of people getting to the bakery. I just went right in. I got my cookie and I left.
Yeah, that's in the German bakery where all the caramel is, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
Good to know. Then we're thinking it's going to stick around for a while.
It was very good. I would definitely get that again. It would be good to have another person, so you didn't eat the whole. I mean, I did have half one day and half another, but that was still a lot. It was a big cookie.
It's going to be on my must-do list. Well, while you're talking about your things that you did for the first time,
yes,
I loved all the videos you did. So thank you so much. We were talking about on the Zoom call. You were asking people, do you want to see videos from Starcruiser? Do you want to get spoilers and all this stuff? And we were all like, just go for it. And one of my favorite videos you did of several, it was fun to see you. I think you'd make a great vlogger, actually, Wendy.
Okay.
She's like,
yeah.
She's wondering about the technology. But you did a fantastic job. And my favorite one was the blue green milk review. Was that the first time you ever had blue or green milk in Star Wars land?
It is. You know what? I just never really wanted to try it. And I was on the Starcruiser, and they, we'll get into a little bit more about what it is, but there are these machines that are there that have the blue milk and the green milk all day, so I'm like, okay,
like a cruise.
I'm here. I'm like, it was totally like a cruise. I'm like, okay, you know what? Now's the time to try it. And I think it was late in the afternoon, and my grandkids were taking a rest, and I think my husband was taking a rest, and I had like a little bit of time on my hands. I'm like, I went to try it. I'm like, okay, I'm going to record this while I try. I think it was a minute. So I'm glad it came out.
How did you hold the camera while you were doing your...
I just held it in my hand. I held it in my left hand, and I tried to milk with my right hand.
Well, what was the outcome of the blue and green milk? Can you redo your review?
I was not a fan of either one. The first one, I thought, okay, well, I just really don't like this one. Maybe I'll like the other one. And then I think I didn't like the other one either. And I think I made a funny face because someone had posted, your face said it all. I did not like them.
You're so polite about it too. Yeah. Oh, very good. That was such a good video. Go out to our private Facebook group. Check out Wendy's videos. She did a fantastic job. Well, one of the things I always, you got to have a must-do list when you're going down to Disney World, I think. And you go quite a bit. Was there something new you wanted to do? I mean, we just went in February, but was there anything besides the Starcruiser?
Well, yeah, we'll get into that. I don't think there was anything. I mean, this was a very different trip than G3 because this was a family trip with 8 people.
Right.
So our priorities were doing things together as a group of 8.
Yeah.
And we made sure we had dinner together every night. I mean, sometimes we would go off on our own. So I don't think there was anything really that we did this time that we hadn't done before, other than my daughter, Stephanie, and her husband, Kevin. It was their first time in Galaxy's Edge.
Oh, wow.
So they had not been to Galaxy's Edge before. So the Hollywood Studios Day, we actually rope dropped it because it was supposed to rain and thunderstorm later in the day. But, Florida actually never came and didn't happen. But we got there, like it was dark out when we walked in and started doing the rides. And that was their first time at Galaxy's Edge.
Yeah,
so we went the day before Starcruiser. Oh, they loved it. They loved it.
So is your family a big Star Wars group?
All of our families. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
You've been teaching the grandkids and they've been getting into it.
Kurt, I bet I can match you up with Liam and or Logan, who's 3, and I can guarantee you that they would know more character names than you do.
Awesome.
Guarantee it.
Yeah, well, I got this thing. I got to go to work every day, so I don't have all day to play on Star Wars things.
There you go. I'm just saying they're right in there.
I knew that about your family.
When the idea came up for Star Wars Hotel, and I think that's when I really first knew Judy, and I think she was the one I said, can you put us on the list to book 3 of these rooms? And she goes, yeah. I think that was literally 3 years ago. And we didn't really even know what it was. I thought it might have been a Star Wars themed hotel. And if that is what you were thinking, just like we were, that is a Star Wars themed hotel, that is incorrect. It is a much bigger experience than just that. And we found out, and we'll tell you about it when we're ready for the Star Wars part. But it's definitely not just a Star Wars themed hotel. Well,
I think we're ready. We've teased the audience long enough. Wendy.
Okay.
How do you want to do this? Do you want to give me a little blow by blow of what you did? Because I've got audience questions that we got from our private Facebook group. We got quite a few questions for you. I can save those for the end.
Yeah. Why don't I go kind of chronologically what happened, and then you can ask me those questions at the end. Does that work for you?
I think one thing I wanted to cover too, and we want to give people an idea, because this is new for Disney. And Correct. I had this feeling from talking to Margita that they're, they weren't always giving out information that was on the website wasn't totally correct. I think one of the confusions was how were you going to get to from the Grand Floridian over to, I don't even know where this hotel is because it's hidden, right?
It is hidden, and when you look at it from the outside, it looks like a warehouse. I mean, unassuming, yes. And other than it had the little sign that I think we took our family picture in front of, that was really the only thing that told you that it was a Starcruiser hotel. So I guess I'll start off with our transfer from the Grand Floridian to check into the Star Wars Hotel was a nightmare. My daughter called it a train wreck.
How come?
We were in line so long and we were so hot and we were so tired. And I just said, we don't have to do this. There's other hotels we can go to. We can and we were literally considering not going in. And a cast member, I think, heard us, and they actually helped us after that. I'm like, we have to do this. We have 3 rooms here. This is supposed to be a great experience. If, we were just so frustrated. So
there was a long wait just to get in?
Yes. So the first thing is Grand Floridian was great. They were like, we're going to arrange your Mears taxis for you. 12:15. We need 2 of them to get us over there. Okay. Disney's going to pay for the transfers. The taxi drivers get a voucher. Okay. So we go, we said, okay, we need bell service to help us with our bags at 12 o'clock, 12:15. I get it all arranged. You know what a planner I am, Kurt.
I do.
So bell services doesn't come. They're just, I'm sure, late getting there. I go down to get the car. There's one of the vans that were there. I said, okay, we're just a little bit late getting our stuff. The guy waited for a few minutes, then he left.
Wow.
So then my son and son-in-law came with their bags. They had 2 of their bags. And if they were just a few minutes earlier, I could have at least sent them over. It just took a long time to get our bags down and to get the cars and to get over there. So that took 40 minutes. And we were standing outside. It's hot. Florida, it's like hot. It's 90 degrees. We're having our stuff. We get there at 12:40. There's a million people. Everyone's in this long line. Now, I will say we were greeted by a cast member. They took our luggage immediately. They tagged them right there, and they whisked off our luggage, and they told us to go get in line. It will be a little bit for us to check in. Check-in starts at 1 o'clock. So this is 12:40. We were still in that line at 2 o'clock.
Wow.
It's hot. It's hot. There are more and more people coming. You hardly see the line moving. It was about 10 of 2 that my daughter and I are like, we're done. Thank God we had a snack at the Grand Floridian around 11:30 because we were hot. We were tired. They were handing out some water bottles. We never got any. Then finally, it's like, we don't have to stay anymore. We were all very frustrated. Finally, a cast member came.
Then this happens every time they load the Starcruiser?
Well, I don't know, but I do know that I got a survey from Disney, and that's going to be top of my list. Like, it's just ridiculous. When they check people in, you have to go through security. That was fine. But you can only fit 12 to 15 people in this transport to go to the hotel. Okay. So they're only taking that many people at a time. And you go there, you have to get your magic band and you have to get your data pad. And there's a data pad for each person. So even the 3-year-old and the 6-year-old got a data pad. And the data pads are iPhones. So those have to be signed out to you. You have to get your magic bands, which were super cool. Those are all done between that 12:40 to 2 o'clock time. That took about 10 or 15 minutes. Yeah. And you're just waiting to get in. So I know Glenn Kessler's not going to listen to this until after he goes, but I told him, get there at like 2 o'clock. There's no reason, just stand there. Everyone wants to get there early and get in there, and they have a lunch buffet from 1 to 4, but they didn't even start letting people in until almost 1:30.
But you were in the hot sun the whole time? You couldn't even get inside? There's nowhere to...
Correct. There's no inside. You are outside. There's a little bit of an overhang, but it was a warm day, and we had been outside since 12 o'clock. We were trying to get the transfer. So
lesson learned here is don't
go later.
Yeah.
Don't go at 1 o'clock.
Did they moved right along at 2 o'clock? Like,
when when we were not happy with this, a cast member came and took me out of one, and my daughter. So we had to go and use the restroom. We had the 2 boys. We brought them with us, and then they pulled us aside, and we're like, look, this is ridiculous. We didn't really even want to go here anymore. And they brought us a line. They had us go to security, and we did cut the line a little bit. We did.
Wow.
And then I said, there's 2 more, I was like, we have 3 more people in our party. So then they went and got them, and they brought us in, and they could tell that we were just, we had it.
Wow.
And,
all right. So rough start.
Rough start. Very rough start. But we got our match bands, we got our communicating units. And from then, the gentleman who took us was very lovely. We did have 3 rooms in a row, which is what I asked Margita for. I wanted our rooms to be together. When you go through the transport, it's very similar to if you've gone to the Space 220 restaurant and you're in that, right. It's kind of like that, a very similar transport. You go out the other side, you are in this atrium, which is very large. I think I had shown pictures of it in the video. It had benches kind of in the middle. It's very open, very high ceilings. It had these little catwalk areas at the top. You kind of get there and are pulled off to a side with one of the cast members, and they make sure they know your room number and all this. Then they point out to you some of the features. Off the atrium is the bridge, which is where you go to get bridge training and learn how to control the Starcruiser when you drive, when it's your turn. There's a whole water station, which I'll get up to, which I absolutely loved. There is a lounge that we went to several times a day called the Starlight Lounge, Sublight Lounge. And then there's a guest service area. There's a gift shop. And then there's the hallways to go to your rooms. So this is all kind of out of the atrium. So the atrium is like kind of the center hub for all of these activities. So you walk through the atrium, you go down to your floor. I think rooms were on the 4th floor, the 5th floor. The 6th floor is the floor you're on with the atrium, and then there was the 7th floor. Our room was on the 4th floor, which is great. We were the last 3 rooms all the way on the right, and the cast member takes you and shows you around your room. I think I did a little video of the room.
Yes.
The room was larger in person than the pictures that I had seen on any YouTube or video. Mm-hmm. It was a hotel room with a bed, and it had the 2 areas. I don't even know what you call them. They're really not bunk beds because they're in the walls, but there's two additional beds that are in the wall. Then there's a pull down bed that we never pull down, but similar, I'm guessing, to like Pop Century has, that comes out of the wall. And then they have this little...
That's what, the resemblance. That's where the resemblance ends. Pop Century, the trundle bed is how
Well, it's a flip down one. We never flipped it down. And then it has these 2 ottomans and this table. So the table pulls out, and the ottomans you can make into a table, or you can store it away. It has a large screen where there's activity going on outside. It really makes it look like you're in space. Yeah. It has a droid in the room that every morning will talk to you about what you need to do. In fact, one day I said, "What's the weather like on Batu?" It's the day before he went away. So, she answers some of your questions. And
this is like a video screen kind of droid.
Correct.
It's not like a droid walking around your room.
Right. So the only
like
one
R2-D2.
thing. No. It's just video. And one thing that Disney has to still fix is they have this light switch when you first walked in for the main light, and then there's a secondary light switch. So if you want, like I do, to have my reading light on at night, you can't do that without having the main light switch, which also controls other lights. So you can't shut all the lights off in your room and have a reading light on. It's either... There's like 3 lights on that are tied together. So I actually called down the first night. I'm like, how do I get this the lights off? They're like, you can't. Yeah, we know that's a problem. It's on our list. We have to figure out how to fix that. So
okay.
That was kind of an odd thing that I think Disney didn't think about ahead of time, but they're working on that.
So it looks like a spaceship kind of room that you've seen on all kinds of Star Wars and Star Trek kind of cruiser kind of thing. And what's the window? What's your view out the window?
So the view screen you can turn on or off. And when you look out the window, it shows planets and things kind of going by, like there might be a TIE fighter, or there might be some kind of other planets or other stars. And it's moving slowly. Okay. So that you don't really have a view outside. There is a spot in the Starcruiser where you could go and get daylight, but other than that, you were really convinced that you were on a cruise ship, and this is your environment.
Yeah, no balcony, huh?
No balcony, no bright light. And then
no
the
balcony
funny
in
thing,
space.
my poor daughter had my 2 grandsons, and one of them wanted the screen on, and one of them wanted the screen off. So you know how that's, that's going to go. And the first, right. So after the first, they shut it off at night, and my grandson Liam woke up at like 6:20 in the morning, and the screen was off. So he went and put the screen on, and that woke everyone up at like 6:20 in the morning. But
it doesn't make any noise, but you got a lot of light coming in. What do they think of those? I thought those bunk beds were pretty cool, if that's what we want to call them. Beds in the wall. They're pretty cool. Yeah,
beds in the wall. So I don't really know what the name is. And they are full size. Yeah. Like you can definitely go in there and lay down as an adult and be fine. In fact, my daughter said that they were very comfortable because she would lay down with my 3-year-old grandson when he was going to sleep at night. And she said, yeah, they're definitely very comfortable.
What do they advertise? Is it 6 to a room?
I don't know. I mean,
Sounds
I guess
like
technically you could fit 5, but it's very tight. Like it's really tight for 5. My daughter and son-in-law who had 4 of the rooms said it was very tight having the 4.
Okay.
And that's just because the boys need a little bit more room to spread out. And the bathroom's fine. That was just regular stuff. But the room itself was very, very nice. And remember now, it's only been open 2 weeks. Everything is brand new. Everything is, spanking clean and new. The beds were comfortable.
Well, being new, sometimes there's bugs too to get out.
Correct.
But now, have you been on a Disney cruise before, Wendy?
I've been on a cruise before, but not Disney.
Okay. Was it kind of like, do people compare this to the experience of being on a cruise?
Yes,
because you're
very much so.
You're locked in on a ship, although it's in space.
Correct. I wish I can find it. I'll have to find what John had a way that he thought it was part cruise, part dinner show. I don't know. There was something else. I'll have to go back and see what he said, but it definitely is very much like a cruise, and they really want you to think it's a cruise. I mean, they really do. I mean, you can tell. The theming in the hotel is definitely 100% Disney. I mean, they have every single detail. The hallways. I mean, the food that they had, the cast members, when you interacted with the cast members, if you said like, oh, I was at Disney, last week, what's Disney? Like every single cast member we came into contact with, which is a lot, every single person was 100% in character,
right?
Right with you that this is a cruise, we're on this planet, and this is what's happening.
We're in space.
So we're in space, exactly. So the cast members had literally exceptional service. I think in the price, that is what you're paying for. There are a ton of cast members all over the place, and whatever you want, they would provide for you. It's like they would help you. The guest services is like whatever. We had gone to Batu and did not get these 2 lightsabers that my grandsons wanted, and we looked in the gift shop on the ship, and they didn't have those. And the ones they had on the ship, they were not like the retractable kind where it would be easier to store. And there were a lot more in the gift shop. The person in the gift shop said, do you want them? We'll send a cast member to get them. They went back to Hollywood Studios and they got the lightsabers my grandsons wanted, and they delivered them.
Because location wise, you're right next to Hollywood Studios in Batu.
Correct.
Right. The
correct
Star Wars land. You can walk right there. Correct.
You cannot walk there.
Oh no. Okay.
I mean, okay. I think it's across a parking lot.
Oh, okay.
So it's very close, but and they don't let you out. You can't leave the hotel.
Oh, okay.
Like if you forget something in your car, like if you drive, a cast member will escort you to get it and get back. You cannot get in and out of the hotel by yourself.
Oh, okay. And this is we haven't even said it. It's a 2-night experience, right?
2-night experience. Yes.
Yeah. And that's
no more, no less.
It's always that way. And like you said, there's a show and there's an adventure going on here. Correct?
Yes. So let me just go back. We'll kind of check in. We have our comm units. There's a buffet from 1 to 4, which we kind of go and check out. And the food, by the way, was unbelievable. It was really good. And after all the comments I heard, it's not good. The food there was really great. I mean, they went above and beyond. The food was really good.
Was it a little strange?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. But everything that Disney did with this, it made it all be one big experience. There was only one food that I thought was not good, but everything else was really good or, definitely worth trying, and they had everything was set up on like little plates, little square plates or little plates. So you can kind of take your tray, which was, I'm sure Disney designed this tray to be a Galaxy's Edge, themed tray. And you have these little squares, these little rectangles that you put your little tastes of your things into your tray. So when you're trying all these different things at the buffet, you're not trying big portions. You're trying like little bits and pieces. So if you don't like something, that's fine. But let me back up a little bit before we get to the food.
Okay.
So the cast members were, like I said, that's what you're paying for, is that service. It was that level of service. I know Disney has an Adventure by Disney that's supposed to be unbelievable as far as service. I would think that this would be on that par. I've never done one, but of course now I want to. But the cast members, I just can't say enough about them. They try to learn your name. It is just, they try to anticipate if they saw you were struggling with something or wanted something. They really did go out of your way. I don't know if that's because it's new and this is their A game, or if that's what they're going to keep up the whole time that this Starcruiser is in existence, but it was amazing. So part of the thing that you had to do is you had to go on missions if you so choose. And really that's what you're paying for. If you think I'm going to go there, it's going to be a Star Wars hotel, I'm going to hang around and have a drink and maybe go to Hollywood Studios, you're really not getting your money's worth out of the hotel. Mm-hmm. Really going on the missions and the interactions that you have are, I think, the majority of what you're paying for.
Mm-hmm. The experience, the adventure.
The adventure. So the one thing that was really interesting, when we first got there, we would see the stormtroopers walking around and Chewbacca would be walking around, and there was this ship director and all the characters that were there. And at first you're like, oh, I want to get my picture. Oh, I want to get my picture. And then after a while, you're like, you just got so used to them, and they would come over. Like in one part, I'm in this one room and Chewbacca comes down, is like, pat me on the back, and you're just talking to them. And it's so weird because there are 375 people on this ship, yet the characters are really trying to get to know you as much as the cast members are. So I thought that was really unbelievable, and I would not have expected that.
What were some of the characters besides Chewbacca?
Well, I can't tell all of them because there are some surprises, but the ones that we ran into most were Chewbacca, the stormtroopers. There was Gaia, who she's been all over the place as far as the singer that's on the ship, and her manager was on there. I can't remember his name, but they were there. There was this Rhodesian kind of character with like this blue-green head. It was hard. Some of them are hard to talk to, like chewing that one, and some are like people that you can talk to. Then there was the cruise director that came around. And she came around and was really trying to talk to everyone. And then there was the ship's captain, and they were both in character, and they were both important to your mission. Plus, they were also talking to you. Then there was a droid very similar to an R2-D2 type droid that would come around and interact with the guests a lot. My grandkids really liked them. And they were just, like you said in the beginning, you wanted to get all your pictures. And then afterwards, you're like, oh yeah, there they are. John will be sitting in the bars, and the stormtroopers will walk in, and, they'll come and chat with us while you're sitting there, and they'll go on. But when they chatted with you, they were in character.
What about the A-listers though? Like Luke.
The A-listers?
Luke and Han Solo, and
no Luke and Han Solo.
No Princess Leia, Darth Vader. Where's all the big guys?
So there are other big guys that come at the end, but this did not take place during movies 4, 5, and 6. Okay. This took place between movies 7 and 8, I think is what I'm told. Like, so it's the newer movies. Okay. So the characters that come later on are not those characters.
Okay. All right. She's trying not to be a spoiler. I don't mind.
I'm trying not to be a spoiler. I really don't, because you know what? I know that there's people that are going to listen that are then going to do that. And I don't want to spoil. The ending is everything you're doing for the 2 days is leading up to the ending. And I don't want to spoil that.
All right.
Okay. So do you want to do food?
Yeah. So you had a good buffet. We got that. What were the other? Do you have quick services or do they have restaurants?
No. So we were on level 4, and level 4 also had the dining room called the Crown of Corellia. And the Crown of Corellia has a lunch buffet between 1 and 4. And actually, that's where the eating was. It was a breakfast buffet on both days. It had a lunch buffet between 1 and 4, and then it had 2 different dinners. So the first dinner was, in fact, I took notes of what they were.
This was one price. The meals were included?
The meals were included. The alcohol was not included, but the meals were included.
Yeah.
The first night was called An Evening with Gaia, and she was the entertainment. She sang. She has a beautiful voice, and she kind of worked the room. We were sitting, our table was sort of in the back of where Gaia was performing, but she walked around the entire time. I think our cast member said there were 375 people on the ship, and they were divided up into 2 seatings, a 5:30 seating, which we had, and an 8 o'clock seating. Mm-hmm. So figure there were, maybe 150-ish kind of people in the dining room. And it was plenty.
Yep.
The service was great. We had our waiter, and he brought everything out in courses. So there was like a first taste, which was a red fruit pillow. Then there was, they called it a bento experience, which had some kinds of dumplings and had tip yip chicken, a bantha beef, by the way, which was delicious. First, I wasn't even going to try it. I'm like, oh my goodness, that was great. Flora vegetables with potato and curry. That was delicious. Then it also had these interplanetary dipping sauces that came with all the dumplings. So that was really great.
All right.
And then, of course, we're done. And it's like, then they bring the main course.
Oh,
so
wow.
there was scallops and shrimp and the chicken and I don't know, there's some kind of vegetable dish. And for those who had like a special dietary needs, if you're vegan or if you're vegetarian or if the chef comes out like all the Disney restaurants and makes sure that you can eat. And I said right away that I had the tree nut allergy. They're like, yeah, there's nothing on the ship that has tree nuts. That was it. There was nothing. Yeah. I think they really tried to plan for that. And then the desserts were so yummy. They had, of course, chocolate dessert, and they had a caramel dessert. And, it's one of those things where they'll bring you as much as you want. We did actually, I think, had an extra chocolate dessert. And then the boys had their own menu, which was, definitely Disney's children type food, but it looked different. And they were fine with that. Yeah. And for dessert, they had cookies and milk. And afterwards, everyone's like, could we get their chocolate chip cookies? So they're like going back and get chocolate chip cookies. And the presentation of the dishes and just everything, we had these dishes that looked like celestial heavens and planets and stuff on them. And every course you got a different dish and different silverware. The glasses you got were these silver Yeti type of glasses. So it kept everything cold in there if you got like soda or juice or whatever. And then they had the regular water glasses. Yeah. Everything, again, all the food was included except for your drinks. And I did get used to drinking that bluish green wine when I was there. And I got used to it by the end.
So when you're off in space, there's not a lot of variety if they have bluish green wine and that's what you have, right?
Correct.
Get used to it or...
And then the second night for dinner was called A Taste Around the Galaxy. And each of the chefs that were in charge of one of the courses came out and talked about where it was from, which is whatever the planet was that it was from, and their inspiration and what the tastes were. Then they started working the crowd a little bit. Like the first one got a big applause. The second was like, hey, you clap more for me. Let's try this again. I made the entree. And everyone's like, oh, and clapping for that person. And
these were the chefs?
These are the chefs. They came out the second night and they talked about each of their courses. And then the pastry chef came out. And as soon as she came out, everyone started applauding for her because the food was just delicious. And she made a lot of the treats that were in the for breakfast and for lunch. And so that was really nice that they came and explained the dishes for each of the.
I love that idea, though. I could see that so much could be happening at the Disney restaurants for sure, because they're so talented, these chefs.
They are. So that night we had these spreads that came out with breads, but the breads didn't look like anything you had seen before. They were, I don't know, kind of like something you might get at Sanaa, but not the pita. And they had all these breads and dips, and then the what do they call it? Ice Solution shrimp cocktail came out, and they brought this shrimp on ice with all the ice that smokes. Yeah. So it was so they came out and there was steam coming everywhere, and there was the shrimp, and my grandkids got such a kick out of that. And we got 2 platters because there's 8 of us, and they're watching which one is still steaming and everything. And
dry ice.
Right. And the shrimp are green. And so then we're looking at it like, oh, I don't know if we wanted to try it, or were they blue? Maybe they were blue. Sorry. And we looked at it and we tried it. It was delicious. The food there, like I said, was really great. And then the entrees were, they called it a whitefish, but I don't know if it was similar to like a grouper. It was definitely a sweet whitefish. And that had like little corn seed relish on it and some little, and that was, I had that. That was great. And then there was a braised bantha beef short rib. That was the other thing. And I'm like, well, I really don't eat like a lot of meat. And our waiter said, you want to try this? It's really good. You want to try this? So John and I each took some and had a rich fig fruit demi-glaze on it. We tried it. It melted in your mouth.
Yeah.
Like that was the one food that we said, other than the chocolate chip cookies, can we have more of this? And my son-in-law, I don't know how many pieces of that bantha beef short rib he ate. It was just really good.
Yeah. I've loved their short ribs when I've had, like you said, tender and melts in your mouth, right?
And then when the pastry chef came out, it was a Chandrillion air cake, which was chocolate, cream of Jorgen fruit, and some kind of fruit jelly. And that was melt in your mouth. It kind of looked like, oh, that's maybe a big piece. I'll maybe have half. And then you ate the whole thing. That's pretty much how it happened. So the food there was amazing. And like I said, I wasn't expecting that because I was kind of reading what other people were saying, and there's like saying that Disney really missed the mark, but I disagree. I don't know if they went in the preview days and they didn't have it down pat yet, but we thought the food was delicious. Too. Yeah. The one thing I thought was not good, which was would have out at breakfast, they had kind of like a dish and it had like basically a little like corn muffin and a little donut and a little pastry. And they were, all the things were different colors and had like little sugar on top. I think when they tried to make the color and put the sugar on top, it made it really hard. So like the corn muffin, the part in the top, it didn't taste very good. And it just kind of, I don't know if it's from sitting out, but that was the one thing I thought was not good, was those kind of muffiny fruit things.
Okay.
But the breakfast, they had probably, I don't know, 8 or 10 choices. They had cut up fruit. They had these like eggs on top of a hash brown and something else. And they all had really clever names to them. And I took pictures of everything. So I can send you some of the pictures to put in the website if you want to do that. But that was really great. And then the other place you could eat was a Sublight Lounge. They had snack foods that you can get all during the day. And then at breakfast time, they had bananas and like those little mandarin oranges. And they always had like a coffee station set up in the morning. And then they had a boxed breakfast. So the day that you went to Batu, when you went to Galaxy's Edge, you can just pick that up and take it with you if you didn't want to take the time to sit down at the buffet breakfast. Okay. And then the lounge was not that large. And I was kind of concerned that it was not that big of a space for the number of people on the ship, but we actually went there a lot, both in the afternoon and the evening, and we never had to wait for a table. I mean, it was, I don't know how they did it, but it was really great. My daughter went and had this lemon drink that had a cloud on top, and she really liked that. And on John's birthday, we went to Toast. I had a glass of wine, and he had a pod chaser, which was an old fashioned, but instead of using ice, they have a silver metal ball that's cold that they put in the drink. And I asked about it, and he said it was good, but it was a very, very small pour. That was what he was saying. So in the bar, when you first walked in, there was a large table, round table, where different people can sit around it, and like a poker table, except it was a sabacc table. And literally for the 2 days we were there, I never saw a free seat at that sabacc table. People loved it. Sabacc is a card game, and there's also a couple times on the ship that you could go and have a sabacc tournament and play. And John and I would play that in the bar. After the kids would go to sleep, we would have a drink and we'd play sabacc. They just bring the cards to you when you're sitting at the lounge. And we didn't do the tournament, but that was really great. So again, I didn't really realize how many people were on the ship because everyone was going different directions with their missions, and they split the people up as far as their seatings for dinner. And there was just so many different places to go and explore. It almost seemed like really there was not that many people on the ship. We kept seeing the same few couples over and over again. And I think mostly because the ones we really noticed were the ones whose costumes were a lot better than ours. So, and I know Samantha wanted to know how many costumes a day do you need? We each brought one costume for each day. Well, let me just tell you, these people dressed. There were people in costumes, sometimes really elaborate, with several changes a day. in the evening at dinner, there were people that dressed in like long gowns, updo hair. I mean, really, really went all out. There's some you can tell the characters. There was this one family from New Jersey. They had 6 different outfits. And I think they're I don't know what they do for a living, but their costumes were definitely like, you know, real Broadway type of costumes. I mean, they were just amazing. Wow. A lot of people painted their face color, you know, whether it would be blue or green. And they just had all different assortments of outfits, and people changed, like I said.
Talk about people watching. That's almost like it's one of the fun things for Halloween. You go and see how the guests dress. So that's right. A great thing for you to see here on the ship.
If you do go, I would definitely dress. I mean, it definitely adds to the whole experience, I think.
You gotta be prepared with as much as you can do. And so tell me about the adventures. What can you tell me? How much can you tell me about your adventures? Yeah. And did you get any sleep on this cruise at all?
We did, but I'm telling you, the people that did a lot more than we did. So we had 3 rooms. So my son, Jeffrey and Andrew probably did the most of all the missions because they broke off in the group, and it really is easier to do it in 2 and 4. This is a hard thing to do with a group of 8 people.
Sure.
Again, a tip, I would say maybe go with 2 or 4 people. I wouldn't really go with more than that if you want to stay all together. What happens on your comlink is, well, first of all, you try to go and explore, and you have a magic band, and there are places on the ship that you can go and just scan your magic band and try to get into them. Mm-hmm. And it will either tell you access is gained or access is denied based on what's on your magic band. So sometimes we were trying to break in where we shouldn't have been, and then we would get a message, I see you're trying to access the restricted area. And then they'll ask you questions. And based on how you answer your questions, you kind of get funneled through different missions. They ask you if you want to be on the side of the resistance or you're on the first order. And there's always like 4 answers to the question. So the way that you answer it kind of funnels people off, almost like a flow chart in a way. So if you figure out every time you answer this question, you go do this. If you answered it this way, you would go do this. And it just kind of does that for the whole mission. So you have everyone on the ship that are answering these questions in a different way. Okay. And then, so if I was answering A and then the next one I answered the B part, next one C, I'd be a different way than if I answered C and then A and then B. It makes you go in different directions. I don't really know how to say it without saying it more clearly, without giving you too much.
Most of our geeking family that knows you, Wendy, knows your reputation. So my biggest question then would be, did you end up in the brig?
Well, I wasn't locked in the brig, but I was at the brig.
No, wait a minute. You said you're going to start behaving yourself.
Yes. Well, I wasn't. I was there to help.
You knew the area, huh? You'd been there before.
I knew the area. Yes. So the more that you answer, then there's more people that come up on your comlink. So the more things you do, the more access you have and the more things you're able to do. So if you go on this trip and you say, I want to sit back in the lounge and people watch, big waste of money. You need to really be part of these missions. And then you really start getting involved in it. And your missions start really right away. I was so impressed that we got there, checked in, got changed. We were only on the ship for an hour or 2 and we were already starting to go through missions and already getting communications and already starting. So by the end of the first day, we had a lot of stuff that we have done already and a lot of stuff that we were asked to do the next morning on BAP2. So I think we went to sleep the first night at around 10 o'clock and we heard a couple that was up till the lounge stays open till 2 a.m. So we had a couple that was stayed up to well past midnight and they had to get up. Your link starts around 6 a.m., very much like G3. Your link with your messages start really early. And I remember a couple the next day saying, we're not really getting any sleep, but we have to be here. You just kind of get invested in these missions if you agree to do them. Sounds
like the G3 when the games that you do with
correct
the challenges that the Grand Geek and Glory.
Correct. I mean, the more right.
Maybe you got some ideas from this experience for us.
So that's kind of the first day. You're in there, you're checked in, we had our dinner, you get your missions, you start doing things. The very first night, there was a message, for example, when we got our bill, there was a message underneath the receipt that we had to find other people in the restaurant that had other parts of our message to find out about. So I mean, they find all different ways to get these missions, and you get different information. Okay. And my son was on different missions than we were. And then when we got together, we're like, oh, you're doing that. You're meeting this person here. I'm meeting this person here. And sometimes you're meeting with one of the star players, and there's like, just a couple of you meeting them in an off location, and here are all these people on the ship. So I don't know how Disney does this to get everyone to get such individual attention with these characters, but they did.
Wow.
So that started the first day. And the second day you wake up, like I said, early, we had our breakfast. Also on the first day we had lightsaber training. So you're broken up into small groups. I think there's maybe about 12 to 16 people in a room. The cast member who's in charge of lightsaber training, so well themed. I mean, she was just so great about not necessarily doing the correct moves, but it being a part of you and thinking about inside and using the Force. And you kept getting messages from her afterwards about using that knowledge when you're on your missions. And they had a separate one for the kids. So 7 and under had their own. So then the second day, Liam and Logan had their lightsaber training with their own cast members. And then what else? Then we went to Batu. We had our transfer. And the transfer to Hollywood Studios was definitely in theme. You go and it looks like, I've seen in the spoilers that it's like a big box truck that drives you, but when you walk in there, it almost looks like a train. It will sit 12 people. 3, 6, 9, 12. Will sit 12 people. And it's these luxurious cars with like cushioned seats. And there's a cast member that comes with you. And before you cross into Batu, you get to wear this pin. And that pin is, trust me, is like gold, having that pin on there. That tells the staff, that tells the cast members at Galaxy's Edge that you are on the Starcruiser. You get such attention from those cast members, like I can't even tell you. So we
Better
go
than
over
a birthday pin?
Better than the birthday pin. So we go over, we do our ride, we go onto the Millennium Falcon, and we're doing our ride. And do you know, before you go on the Millennium Falcon, that you have Hondo talks to you about what mission you're going to do and how he wants the coaxium and all that?
Yeah.
Well, he goes, oh, there you are, the fancy people from the Starcruiser Hotel.
Wow.
So he actually said that there was something in probably our comm units that alerted him that we were there. And it came out in the dialogue before we got on to pilot the Millennium Falcon.
Cool.
So that I thought was super cool.
Right.
And then when we went to do Rise of the Resistance, the ride broke down. So after one part, it was right before you got to the Stormtroopers. So we're going, there's like, okay, we'll just go wait over here. And this cast member saw that we had the pins, and he goes, oh no, not you. You're on the Stormcruiser. You come with me.
Okay.
They took us off. They gave us an experience on our band again, because we went right to the lightning lane. They said, come back at any time. And I said, okay, well, we'll try to, make that work. We only had a small amount of time to get all of our missions done. So we had
you had missions at Batu in the park?
Yes. And we could have done so many more than we did.
Okay. How are they now? This is using this little iPhone gadget to do these missions?
Yes.
I gotcha.
Yes. There was a ton of stuff to scan that you had to go and find. And there was a lot of stuff in the marketplace that you had to hack into the system, and you had to scan it, and it gave you some coordinates of things that you needed a lot later on. So all those unassuming things in the marketplace were really important with the Starcruiser. So they must have had that all planned, obviously,
sure. Wow.
When they built Galaxy's Edge initially. So then we said, okay, we're going to try to go to Oga's early. Well, trying to move a reservation for 8 at Oga's is no mean feat. I go up to the podium. I said, look, Rise of Resistance broke down. We have to change things around. We're on the Starcruiser, and we need a sit-down table for 8. We had that in like 3 minutes.
Wow. Okay.
So it's like, as soon as they see you with your pin on, they just did anything they could to help you. That was unbelievable. There was also a little section near the transport that always had like bottled water and cold towels. We didn't go to do that, but you could do that if you wanted to. But a lot of the cast members would talk to us about our experience because they saw the pin was on it. So that was interesting. And my daughter's like, can we keep this pin? You think we could put it on next time we're at Hollywood Studios? Because like I said, when the ride broke down, Yeah, we didn't. They just took us right off, and after Oga's, and we were trying to go back, the ride had broken down. So then the lightning lane. I mean, they had like one of those big long signs with like an end of the lightning lane thing, and we just went to the front and we told the cast member, "Look, we can't wait in this lightning lane line. We already had half the ride. Can we just go in and do the other half of the ride because we have to be back?" And she goes, "Of course." She whisked us right in, right to the part where we left off, and she just goes, "They have to go on here right now." And we didn't even wait in the lightning lane or restart the ride. We just went from where we left off. I mean, they were so accommodating.
How long were you in Galaxy's Edge?
Well, we had to go back. We had a capture the moment photo shot session, whatever you call it, set for 2:00. It was initially at 10:00, and we changed it to 2:00. Really, that was one of the things you should have done on the first day. I kept trying to get it on the first day, and we just couldn't. I think Margita could have gotten it for us at 8:00 at night, but that would have been late for the boys. I don't think they would have been in any state to listen to anyone at 8:00 at night. That's usually way past their bedtime. So we rushed back for that. And then there were some kids' activities that for some reason the boys didn't end up getting to, but we rushed back to, I guess, probably 2:00. We could have done a ton more missions because every time you complete a mission, you get a new mission. So we finished what we knew we had to do on Batuu before we came back. And we probably came back about 1:45, changed into our stuff, had the photo session from 2 to 2:30, and then finished whatever other missions we could then. And by that time, there's people all over the ship. There's other rooms. There's an engineering room. There's the brig, like you said. There's back on the bridge. Oh, and then we had bridge training later that day, which you actually learn how to fly the ship, which was super cool. There's just so much to do. I mean, it's like 10:00 at night. You're like, I'm still not done doing everything yet. So it's really inclusive. If you are someone who really wants to do all the missions, you would really like it. Is it worth the money? Yes. If you like that, you want a high level of service, if you like all the inclusiveness of it, if you want the interactive parts with it, yes.
What was the photo shoot? The photo shoot's like the thing they're doing all around the parks now, right? But
correct.
You did it on the ship?
Correct.
All right. Did they go different places and what?
Yes.
Well, how long was that for?
30 minutes. So normally they're 20 minutes, but this was 30 minutes.
All dressed up in your costumes.
Yes, I actually I did 2 costumes for that. So, yes. So again, the cost, if you like all that, I think one of the questions was, do you have to be a super Star Wars fan? You don't have to be a super Star Wars fan, but I think you do really want to do the interactive parts. And the things that really surprised me is my son is more on the quiet side. You always talk about introvert. I mean, he and Andrew, that would be them, but they got so into the missions that they were all about it. And it was really great. Someone had asked, would I do it again? And I said, I wouldn't do it again unless something changed. Maybe the storyline changed, maybe with a different group of people. 2 nights is absolutely the right amount for that. I don't know if I could wake it up for a 3rd night. And my last thing is, I really don't think it's for kids under 10. That was really hard having the boys on there because my daughter and son-in-law didn't get to do as many of the missions because they had the kids with them. Yeah. So that was one definite takeaway I would tell your audience. If you had like Glenn and Jeff with like a father-son thing, or, if you want to have like a bonding experience with one of your children, that would be an amazing way to do this. But it was really hard. Like Stephanie ended up getting the boys to bed, and then she would stay with the boys, and then Kevin would go back out and do some of the missions in the evening. So she kind of missed out on those type of things. But, they still had fun. They still liked it. The next morning when we woke up on our third morning there, Logan didn't want to leave, and Liam said he wanted to be there for 100 more days. So even though they weren't doing the interactive stuff, they still liked enough of it. There were quite a lot of kids on there. I just don't think it's worth it to pay for the kids under 10.
Very good. All good. Great advice. Well, yeah, let's get in. Speaking of Glenn and
questions?
Jeff, let's go through their questions now. Glenn didn't want to know too much because he's not going to listen to this. He's going in 2 weeks as we're recording.
Yes.
But he did say he wanted to know about the 3-hour buffet on arrival day, which we talked about.
Yes.
He says, are there any benefits of coming in with a backstory?
I don't think so. I mean, you kind of get immersed in the story that they have. I mean, I guess the more the more that you know, the more it will make sense to you. But I didn't have all that, and I definitely got it. Everything comes together. You get bits and pieces of it all through these missions and and then at the end, there's a big grand finale show, and everything comes together then.
Yeah, and he was saying he knows that you got to tap your band on everything, which we went
everything.
We know how to do that, and I know he didn't want any spoilers, but the one spoiler you got to give is about just getting there from wherever you're coming from, right?
I did. I told him that. I said it'd be better if I responded to him saying, my opinion is if you had your own car, you could park, and if it was really awful, you can like leave and come back, you know, if the line was really bad, or just like I said, getting there with the mirrors was really difficult. And like I said, Disney will pay for that. They will give you, but it's like definitely worth taking an Uber or Lyft or something else to get there.
All right. I think you answered these questions, but we'll just want everyone to know I'm acknowledging them. Heather Marie Tyson, she said from other sites, she said that they're having trouble filling some dates. And is this a one and done for you?
Well, you know, it would really be fun to do like a girls trip with like 4 people, or if like John and I went with another couple.
Okay.
I mean, I can see doing that again, but I wouldn't want to do it with the same storyline. Okay. And I'm guessing Disney's going to have to change up the story because I know what happens at the end. So I probably wouldn't do it again unless they change the story.
Okay. Let's see. Jeff Kessler. He says, I'm assuming it's already in the plan, but I'd been interested to hear your top 3 favorite foods. And as I hope to try everything, but feel that it's not feasible.
It is feasible. It definitely is feasible because you get such small little plates.
Oh, okay.
You can really try. I mean, I tried everything that I wanted to try, honestly. And the things at the breakfast buffet, it's very similar both of the days, and the things at the lunch buffet are very similar both of the days. They had 1 or 2 new things each time, but if you didn't try it one day, you can get the other day. And then at dinner, you definitely can try everything. You can.
What was your top 3 favorites?
I don't know. That's tough. That chocolate cake in the last night was really good. I definitely have to put that up there. That short rib bantha, that was really good the second night. I would say that's probably my second favorite. I don't know. Maybe the breakfast pizza. They had this little breakfast pizza. I think they make their own dough there, and they had like this little pizza. I think that was really good too. Those would be my top 3.
Selena Roll, a good friend of ours, someone who you've put together these kind of adventures for our Grand Vegan Gathering scavenger hunts. Did the experience cater well to both the adults as well as the grandkids?
No, I definitely think it's more. I mean, if you had older grandkids, yes. I mean, like I said, I'd say 8 maybe would be the minimum, 9, 10. They have to really be able to read their comm unit, really be able to understand what some of the missions are. And then absolutely. I think our kids at 3 and 6, they were too young. Not that we didn't want to have them there, but you know, when we decided to go to the Star Wars Hotel, we booked it. We had no idea what it was, really. Right. I mean, we booked it in October. It just said sample itineraries. We didn't know.
Sure.
And I'm so glad that we went. It was a great 60th birthday for my husband. It was a great family trip. I think the one who really suffered the most was my daughter, Stephanie. She really didn't get to do as much as everyone else got to do. So if your grandkids are older, you know, yes. And I think it would be a cool generational trip if you knew that you're only going to get together at dinners and you're going to kind of go off during the day and night to do your other things.
Okay. And then Selena wants to know, what did the kids enjoy the most?
I don't know if they had one thing that they said that they enjoyed the most on the Starcruiser.
The lightsaber experience, was it similar to the one in the parks?
No, the lightsaber that they did was lightsaber training. That was totally different. And they did like that. They had a little part where they were able to race droids, but that was they missed the droid racing on the second day. And then on the third day, when we were waiting to check out, one of the cast members just came over with the droids and they were playing with them for like half an hour. I think probably the bridge training would maybe be their best, because we did keep going back to the bridge. It's this big, giant open room. It looks very similar to Space 220 where you see the outside, but there's all these little stations where you can press buttons. And when you're at your bridge training, you get to do these missions. There's 4 different types of things you can do on the bridge to help fly the ship, and you get to try each one of those. Even the kids got a chance to, like I said, try to push some of the buttons and defeat some of the TIE fighters that were up there. And so I'd probably guess that that's probably the favorite thing, because we did keep going back to the bridge whenever there wasn't anyone in there and playing in there.
What was John's favorite part? Now, this was a big trip for him. So did you get any of his take on what his favorite part was?
I think he said his dinner, the night that we were all together for dinner on his birthday, because, we were all there. It was really lovely. Our kids aren't living home anymore.
Right.
I mean, one's close to us, 2 are close to us now. One won't be soon. My daughter is moving away. So it was kind of like a big family vacation that we're all together. And he said having my kids and my grandkids with me on my birthday was definitely his highlight for sure. I
get that. I would probably agree with the same thing. All right. Catherine Fruit. Did you partake in any libations and bites at the Sublight Lounge, or any we didn't talk about, or any of your favorites and must tries?
We actually didn't eat the food because, if you eat breakfast and lunch and dinner, I mean, we just really didn't, other than, in the morning we would grab some of the fruit that was there, but I did have wine there. We would go there like in the afternoon or the evening to play cards or just to rest for a little bit when the boys were resting. The only drink that John had other than beer was the old fashioned called the Pod Chaser. And then Stephanie had that lemon drink. Other than that, we had wine, but they had a huge drink.
Regular wine like you're used to? No, different.
Same wine from Obus, like the greenish color, bluish greenish kind of color. But I mean, it was fine.
Okay.
But the lounge was really, like I said, we kept going there. I still don't understand how it was never crowded when we went there. But it was really fun. And the sabacc table in the middle of the lounge was definitely the highlight for a lot of people. I mean, there's some people that that's all they were doing is they were playing sabacc.
Oh, wow.
And you had a schedule on your communication device, and it would tell you 1 to 2 sabacc tournament in the Corellian dining room or wherever. It had different things that you can choose to do. So, and those were running simultaneously. So, whereas you can go to the lounge for, whatever in between all the stuff or stuff was going on that you didn't want to do.
All right. She also asked, how often are the transportation shuttles to and from Batuu scheduled?
I don't know what time they started because I knew that the kids had the lightsaber training from 9 to 9:30. So I don't know what the earliest was, but the last one was back at 4. You had to be back on the ship by 4 o'clock.
Okay. And so they're going all during the day, back and forth.
All during the day.
You could pick you didn't have to go at a certain time. Okay. So you could choose.
We actually were scheduled for a 9:50 one, but I don't think you really needed to be scheduled because we just knew we were going to go right after we were done with lightsaber training. We just kind of walked over there, and we were the only ones that were on our transport when we went over. I mean, it only takes 5 minutes. I think they just go across the parking lot. So, and they just keep coming and going all day.
Now, one of our favorite friends, Samantha Kuhn. How many outfits is too many outfits for a 2-night trip? Now, this coming from the
I understand.
Who had 11 suitcases at the Old Key West resort.
So there were a lot of people in costume, and there were quite a few that had changed several times a day. I think the most I had seen was 6 costumes for one family, and I think Samantha and Rebecca are going to hope to be that family.
They're going to try to top that.
I want to say about 70% of the people dressed up.
Okay.
At least one or 2 of the days. John thought it was closer to 50, but I don't know. I think it was more than that. And I know we all had 2 outfits. We each had 2 outfits when we went. I definitely think that kind of gets you more in the mode to do the missions. Just my opinion.
Christina Marriott asks, did the superfans take over and make it hard for the average fan, or was there enough for everyone to feel involved in the storyline?
Absolutely enough for everyone to feel involved in the storyline if you got involved. I mean, you had to tap your magic band. You had to accept the missions. You had to answer the communications that you got. So if you did those things, I think anyone could feel like they're part of the missions. I don't think you had to be a super fan. I think because so much of what we at our age, Kurt, think of as Star Wars is Luke Skywalker and, Han Solo and all that. but it really isn't. It's this new generation of Star Wars. And I just think there's not a lot of people that know as much about that backstory. And if whether you're a super fan or a regular fan, or even not that much of a fan, I think if you're willing to do the interactive part,
right.
I don't even think you need to be a super Star Wars person.
Yeah, just go along with it. I know that's the big thing I'm getting away from this, Wendy, for sure.
Yes.
I'm glad.
Yes.
I'm sure Christina appreciates that too. Judy, Auntie Judy asks, how much did you participate in the story?
Really, as much as we could. We did take breaks during the day, and we tried to take my grandkids for my daughter and son-in-law, so they had a little time too. So if we went just as adults, we probably would have gotten to do more missions, but we really did as much as we really could, from early in the morning to at night. We really kept participating. And then it was helpful that Jeff and Andrew had different missions, so we kind of knew a little bit about from them. And then some of the fans, some of the other guests that were on board helped you too. And the interesting thing is my son talked to 3 different people, and one person in particular who was a guest basically told Jeff that he was actually a cast member, that he was portraying a guest, that there were these Jeff's like, he thought there were 3 of them that he saw that were mingling with the guests and pretending to be a guest to help lead the guests towards the right answers on some of the missions. Because some you kind of had to discover on your own. And if you didn't discover it, you couldn't go to the next thing. So they were kind of positioned in a place to make sure that the guests that were over there discovered how to access the information.
Sure.
So he thought that there were 3 of them. Yeah, he thought that there were 3 of them. He said he knew one of them basically, because he kept running into the same person. He basically admitted, he goes,
right.
Not really a guest. So
I think you answered her other question. I think you really did get into it. I think you got into it pretty good.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes.
What was your most favorite part?
I think normally, you know how much of a planner I am.
Yes.
And it was very difficult for me to go on this part of the trip where I didn't have a sense of what we were doing and how it was going to all fit together. Like that was really hard for me. And I wasn't sure if I was going to enjoy it as much, but I actually did. I mean, once we got through that awful check-in part and we started participating and I was able to relax.
You're so organized, and it was uncomfortable being disorganized, huh?
Correct. But once I was able to really, jump in with both feet, I think the whole immersiveness of it, and knowing that the level of service was much higher than I expected, and really learning the difference between it is not just a Star Wars themed hotel. It is just not that at all. So that's, I guess, the one thing I'd want people to take away from this for sure.
She asks, any things Disney could do better or change? Well, we know the check-in piece. We already talked about that.
Oh, that's a logistical nightmare.
Right.
That, and I would like to be able to read at night without having all the lights on it. They can kind of I'm sure that's something that they're just going to have to fix. But that for sure.
Very good. Margita wants to know, were you this tells you a little bit about Margita. Were you able to store your luggage someplace on checkout day?
No, I was not. So that was actually another, I'm just looking to see if I have anything else to tell you. That was actually another that was awful. We had our flight that left at 2:30. We didn't know what to do because we had to be out by 10 o'clock. So we were assigned an 8:20 departure time, and we just were not going to leave at 8:20. We just didn't in the morning because you have to be out by 10.
Oh, wow.
And you can't have them hold your luggage because you can't go back there. Disney said, well, you can, we had a private car arranged for the airport, but it wasn't until later we thought we were going to go someplace else and then come back and get our luggage. We just stayed as long as we could. We had a car come at 10 o'clock. We went to the airport really early. We got to the airport like before 11 and our flight wasn't until 2:20.
You'd have to go to another resort to drop your luggage off.
Well, that's what they had suggested. And we talked about possibly going to Animal Kingdom because we hadn't been to Animal Kingdom Lodge. And we talked about possibly bringing our luggage because they were checking it and staying there for like an hour or so. We could have left early, maybe done that for 2 hours, but it was a lot of logistical getting around. And we just thought we're just going to go there. The consensus was just go to the airport earlier. Okay. That was really hard too because they will not store your luggage. And again, that was a piece I was really trying to figure out. And for me, we just happened to be leaving that day. If I were to book it, I like that we did the Disney part in the first part and then went to the Starcruiser at the end. But I might try to do it differently, like maybe come in, stay at the hotel at the airport something the night before. But then again, you have that luggage thing in the morning. I don't know. Unless you were staying, like Glenn and Jeff, I think, are staying one night before and one night after. That would definitely help the Starcruiser experience because they'll have a place to go afterwards. But it was very difficult going right to the airport and having an afternoon flight.
There's another question that tells you a lot about Margita. She says, I know you had a lot scheduled on your Batu day. Did you find you had enough time to eat? and I guess you had lunch vouchers for Oga's? And,
correct.
Okay.
We did.
Other places?
So,
did you have lunch vouchers? Is that how it worked?
We had lunch vouchers. Actually, it came up when you went to pay for it on mobile ordering. It came up as a dining credit.
Okay.
So, and here's the interesting part. That included a drink. So we ate at Docking Bay 7 for lunch, and Steph and Kevin both got whatever the alcoholic drinks. They each got one.
Oh.
And then like, you know what, it comes with it. We're going to get that.
Yeah.
And then after that, so we walked to go on the transport, and they said, you're not allowed to take open container drinks on there. Like they didn't know they were alcoholic. They just can't take drinks out of the top. So Stephanie went in the bag and got these 2 pieces of cardboard, cut them and laid them on top. They didn't even fit. She goes, okay, they're not covered. They said, okay. They let us on because it was just us. I mean, it was crazy so they ended up bringing back their drinks from Docking Bay 7 with them.
So you did have enough time to eat. You were only there for, what time did you get over there? You said you left at 2.
Yeah, when we were back, you were probably back at 1:45. We probably got there around by 10 o'clock. So we were there a short time.
4 hours.
I did have droid build scheduled for Jeff and Andrew did theirs that day. And we had droid build for the boys. And I moved that to the day before because that way, that was one thing we didn't have to do during that same time period. And that was kind of helpful. And John, I was looking for something. John said he described the whole experience as a combination of a cruise, a murder mystery dinner, and a Broadway play. That was what I was trying to find to tell you before. He said, especially the cast members in the grand finale.
Great quote. All right. Amy Rhodes, what did you have to what did you buy in the cruiser? How was the gift shop? Did you do any
The gift shop did have a lot of costumes. They did have a lot of things that if you didn't buy anything ahead of time, there were definitely people that first night, because it was open right when you walk in, that were buying stuff immediately. And you could use your annual pass and your DVC discount, just to let you know you could do that. There were a lot of costumes. I think the things that Glenn ordered for he and his son, those were in there. Those kind of like kind of Star Trek-y kind of shirts were in there. They had capes, they had dresses. They were definitely pricier for sure. But they had all that. They also had their own version of things. Like they had their own version of the Sabacc game that was $30. Well, it was $18 if you just bought it at the Tatooine Trader, in Hollywood Studios. Mm-hmm. So they had their own like branded stuff in the gift shop that was a lot more expensive than if you just bought it at Hollywood Studios. They had a lightsaber that was $50 and it was $30 in Hollywood Studios. But the thing about the lightsaber that my daughter didn't like is it was in 2 pieces. And it snapped together, but you couldn't collapse like the saber part of the lightsaber. So that's why they ended up not getting it there. The gift shop was a good size. And again, I think I told you that there's something we didn't want and they went over to Hollywood Studios and got it for us. But we didn't end up purchasing anything at the actual gift shop there. Sorry to disappoint, Amy.
I think you answered this already, but I don't know if you want to say anything about, but Ashley Myers has 2 great questions. What was your biggest disappointment and what was your favorite thing?
Honestly, my favorite thing, obviously that we were all together for sure, but my favorite thing was the food, the meals that were there. I had heard before I left.
True geek.
Well, I heard that before I left that the food was not good. And I was like, and I was concerned about what the boys going to eat. Were they going to cater to them? So I think my favorite part was the surprise of the food and the high level of service that the cast members gave you. I guess those 2 things were exceptional. And the disappointment was getting the check-in and the check-out, just the logistics of those things I thought Disney could have really done better. I really think the check-in part exactly should really be divided up. So rather than 375 people coming at 1:00, you should say, okay, your check-in window is, 1 to 120 or, 120 to 140, or, have kind of like a time set. And if you have to change it, but at least try something to disperse the people. That was just, it really, it kind of set a bad tone for our trip in the beginning.
And Christy Houston, how did each generation like the voyage?
I think the people who got the most out of the voyage itself were probably Jeff and Andrew, who were able to do really the most of the missions. And they also said that the characters were so good at improv and sticking to the storyline. Like when I was asking them their favorite part, that's what it was. And they said the more you interact, the more you get out of it. And they probably got the most out of the mission part of it. I think John and I just liked that we had everyone together. It's, having the kids and the grandkids was just nothing better.
Right.
And I think that was our favorite part, even though it wasn't necessarily had to have happened at the Starcruiser.
It's unique, though. I mean, to say you did this as a family is pretty unique experience, so that you can't get anywhere else.
Right.
I get that.
Right. And I think the boys loved just exploring. I mean, there was no place that was off limits to them. They could just go absolutely everywhere. There was not like a room to go to play, which I thought was something that they're really missing. Like the DVC resorts, they have like a community room where if you need like a little break, you can go there with the kids. I definitely think if they really want to still attract families, they need something like that, even where it would have like videos playing or some games, younger kid stuff to do, because there really was nothing for them.
That's good. That's good advice. Yeah.
Yeah. They were allowed everywhere. And like I said, I think they really loved the bridge.
Daniel Ginger says, how was the lightsaber dueling?
The lightsaber training was really good. I think it wasn't just the fact that you were taught how to use a lightsaber. That was, okay. But the woman who was in charge of that, who was really, like her mission and her focus and being grounded and being one with the Force, like did it in such a convincing way. It didn't seem odd. It just that seemed like part of her nature.
Yeah. It reminds me of Kung Fu, like not just the art of the battle, but also the mind part of
right. She really stressed the mind part. I was thinking more yoga, but yes, I mean more, it's the whole person, the whole being. Like she really stressed that. And then later on, as you were going through your missions, you would get, like I said, you get messages from her just to remember to use that and to use, to believe in yourself and to use that.
Ah, yes. The art of war, the mind part. And then I'm going to finish with Jen Batchelder just said, finally, was it worth the price of admission?
Yes. I think for the right people who get a lot out of it, it was definitely worth the price of admission. If you're okay with paying for the level of service, if you really want the atmosphere, if you want the interactive parts of it, if you want all of that, yes. If you're going to go because you want it themed for Star Wars and you want to hang out, if you're not going to do the other part, I don't think it's worth it, no. And the other thing to keep in mind is the cost is seasonal. So I know our rooms were a little bit more expensive because it was spring break. So just like Disney has value times and, you can also time it to try to get a more economical time to go than we went.
Great advice. And well, your family tradition is always to ask, I don't know if you had a chance, Wendy, to ask everyone what their favorite moment was on this whole trip. Did you get a chance?
Yes, we did. And it was so funny because we always say, what's your favorite moment? Then everyone starts to hedge their bets and say two things. And the first thing Andrew said was, well, we have to have a favorite moment at on the first Disney part and a favorite moment at the second part. I know John picked the bonus day in Magic Kingdom and his favorite part. Mm-hmm. I think I picked the storybook dining part as my Magic Kingdom part. I think Stephanie and Kevin both picked the Galaxy's Edge as their part because they have never been there before.
Sure.
And Kevin's comment, which is actually a lot bigger than what they expected. Mm-hmm. I can't remember what Jeff and Andrew said was their Magic Kingdom favorite. But on the ship, Jeff and Andrew definitely liked the missions. Like they were all about that.
Right. Got into it.
And Stephanie, definitely got into it. And John and I, of course, liked having all of our family around. And I think John was saying his birthday dinner was his favorite Steph and Kevin liked all the food and all the theming part for theirs.
Fantastic. I think we slayed this trip report, Wendy. What do you think? Did we miss anything from your notes?
I don't think so. I think I really try to get my suggestions out as far as if anyone else is on the fence about booking or not booking. And, if anyone wants to talk to me, I try to not spoil some things and just to give advice. But if anyone really wants to know more detail, they can get in touch with me, because like I said, I don't want to give too much away, but if you're really dying to know, I would be happy to tell you.
Yeah. Again, thanks for booking with Margita. I know you guys work together quite well, and
we did.
I don't want to say you had fun booking this trip. There was not an easy one, but you've got some great experience that you can share with our listeners, and I know you guys are open to do that. Margita, of course, and Wendy's always open, and I'm excited. I'm going to see you and John this coming weekend, next weekend.
I know it.
We're going to New York City.
We are going to New York City. Can't believe that we're turning around and traveling again, but we are. So
well, I can't promise you it's going to be as fun as the Starcruiser, but I think we'll have fun going to see Aladdin and a Allman Brothers band.
Yes.
Over at the Beacon Theater, which is something I've always wanted to do. Of course, it's not the real Allman Brothers, but I think we'll still have fun.
Yes.
Being in New York City next weekend together.
Okay. And I think I told you, if Margita and Judy want to call me for more details,
yes.
I'm happy to do that for them.
Absolutely. We'll take you up on that for sure. Wendy, thanks so quickly to get right back from the trip and then get on the podcast and share it with our listeners. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. All right. Goodbye, Kurt. Talk to you soon. Bye, geeks.
Please stand clear of the doors. Por favor, manténganse alejado de las puertas.
Hey, Samantha, were you taking notes? I want one of those communication devices too when I'm down at Disney World, so they can tell me my schedule and all my must-dos. Oh, I'm just teasing Samantha, who I'm going to see this weekend with Wendy. We're going down to New York City. Of course, when this comes out, we already, hopefully, everything goes well, we'll be back home. Great job, Wendy. That is a fantastic, informative, just such a cool thing that you could do down at Disney World. If you want to book that with Mom and Judy, contact them at travelingtiaras@gmail.com. I know Samantha's actually going to do that also. Well, they did a great intro for us, and I'd love for you guys also do intros. You can create them for us. It's fun. If I can give you a suggestion, just tell us your name, where you're from, a fun Disney World fact or two about yourself, and then you go geeking on Walt Disney World with Curtis and the whole geeking family. Email them to me at kurt.stone@geekingonwdw.com. Thank you so much, guys. I've got a bunch of intros lately, especially because of all the G3 intros, and I actually recently released an episode in my Inner Circle. That is a podcast. It's a bonus podcast you can get if you join patreon.com. Now, patreon.com is a website you can go to and pledge a monthly donation to our show. It's cheaper than going to like Starbucks down at Main Street, USA at Walt Disney World, and also getting like a Mickey cinnamon bun. They're so fantastic. That will cost you about probably over close to $10. For $5 a month, you could support the podcast. And I'll thank you so much. And you'll also get some bonus podcasts. I got, especially right now, the G3 recordings I did while I was down there in February with all the Geekin' family. There's a really cool one out right now. It's got a bunch of bloopers from some intros that were sent to us from Wendy and the whole gang, and Glenn Kessler did a bunch, and they messed up a little bit sometimes. You can get all those in that episode I just released this week. And a coffee walk. That's when I go out with my recorder. I call him Harry the Fourth. And I walk along the property that I'm staying at, this time at the Riviera on a Saturday morning after the very fun Friday G3 experience that I had the night before, talking about what I did, what I got coming up for on Saturday. I run into Andy Hoffman. Well, he was in my room, so he was just getting up from a late night the night before. And Glenn was in the shower, I think, at the time. But I did get Glenn Kessler and his brother And Selena and Jackie, brothers and sisters, going on the Skyliner on our way for our Saturday morning. We were on our way to Trattoria Al Forno for our breakfast. I was able to capture some of their thoughts as we're traveling down the Skyliner. So I had a couple of those recordings, I think, during this G3. But you'll get that Inner Circle recordings, all the ones I've done. I'm on episode 107. So join Patreon, support the podcast. The podcasts that I put out there are bonus if you're a fan of the show. I really appreciate you guys that support me through patreon.com. And thank you so much for everyone who is supporting Mom and Judy. They have a travel agency, the Traveling Tiaras. Again, look at your phone app. Our emails are there. You can contact us and talk about your next trip to Disney World. Everybody wants to get on vacation and get away for a week or two. Go down to Florida, go down to Disney World. Even if you're going to Universal Studios Orlando, or if you're going to Disneyland, contact Mom and Judy and they will take care of you. And even if you book your trip yourselves, you can transfer that trip to Mom and Judy. They love hearing from you guys from the podcast. They'll talk all about Disney World, answer all of your questions, help you out booking those ADRs. And we really appreciate you guys that support their small business, because we are committed to helping you enjoy your Disney World vacation. Just reach out to me if you'd like to do a trip report, book a trip, plan your next trip. I'm at kurt.stone@geekinonwdw.com. I love hearing from you guys. I love the feedback. Thanks for going geeking on Walt Disney World with us. We really appreciate you listening, geeking with us every single day. We love you geeks. Have a magical day, and I hope all your dreams come true.